Hello, friends. My name is Paul Burkhart. I'm a longtime member of Liberty Church and a former deacon and seminary intern. And I just wanted to offer a few reflections and encouragement to you in this time of social distancing and quarantining and all that. In this time, I've been trying to look at different parts of Scripture that speak to times when God's people have been separated from one another. In the Old Testament, you have a lot of references to exile and times when God's people were scattered. In the New Testament as well, though, you have a lot of letters written to pastors and leaders that could not be with the churches that they're connected to. And in that, I've been especially encouraged by the letters of 2nd and 3rd John. They're letters that don't get a lot of time in sermons and sermon series and such. They don't have a lot of theology in them, but they're just two letters of encouragement from a leader to a church they're connected to. One letter to this one church led by a woman, the church meets in her house, and then another one led by this guy in another town, where the church meets in his house as well. And they both end almost identically. Towards the end of the New Testament, and 2nd John ends like this. He says, "Although I have much to write to you, I would rather not use paper and ink. Instead, I hope to come to you and talk with you face to face so that our joy may be complete." And I think that's a sentiment a lot of us can share right now. That even though the live stream services are great, the Zoom phone conferences, the FaceTiming, the group chats, the syncing up Netflix, and all those different ways that we're finding to connect, even though all those things are great, there's a level to which our joy is just not complete in this time. There's something about seeing each other face to face and living life together that adds joy and meaning and fullness to our lives. It's just not quite there right now. But if you look at the rest of these letters, it gives us an indication of how these churches are living in that time of separation. In 3rd John, the writer is really, really encouraged that these people are accepting to outsiders and strangers that they don't even know, people from out of town that are coming that have needs. This church is responding to them, that they are being generous and loving them well and serving them well. And that's definitely something that we can do right now as a community. Those that are next to us are our neighbors or our housemates or those people that we may not usually connect with. This could be a time that we extend that love and generosity and hospitality of God to them. And if you look in 2nd John, one of the words that shows up the most is this word walk. It says that the writer says, "I was overjoyed to find some of the members of your church walking in the truth, just as we've been commanded by the Father." It says, "And this is love, that we walk according to his commandments, because this is the commandment that we have heard from the beginning, and so we must walk in it." That in this time of separation, we're not able to meet together. There's something about walking in the ways of God that sustains us and nourishes us. That spiritual life isn't just a static thing, or it's not just a set of practices, but it's a journey that's taken one step at a time. And also, it reminds me of this thing I heard a pastor say once years ago in a sermon, that he said that where your feet go, your soul goes also. And so wherever you want your heart and your soul to be, ultimately, put your feet in that direction and just start walking. He said, "So go your souls, so goes your soul." And I've never forgotten that. That I think we might have a lot of ideas of where we would want our hearts and our souls to be at the end of this, especially as it pertains to our relationship with God. And let me encourage you that if you have those ideas of where you want your soul to be at the end of all this, this time of quarantine and social distancing, be encouraged to put your feet in that direction and just take one step at a time. Do one thing that moves you one step closer to your heart being where you feel that God is calling you to be. Be it opening up some scripture, be it journaling some, be it sitting in silence for a bit and just praying to God. Doing whatever it takes to just take that one step in the direction for your soul. So, using these letters as encouragement, I hope that in this time before we see each other face to face again, that we can just learn to walk in the ways of God all the more and to be generous to those around us as best we can. So I hope this encourages you, and I look forward to the time that we can see each other face to face and greet each other and give each other hugs and handshakes and all of that.